Paul Nuttall, who's alongside me now. Paul Nuttall, very good afternoon to you. Your thoughts today?
Well, one of sadness, one of horror. I'd like to offer my condolences to the families of those who've died, and I hope a swift recovery for those who were in hospital as a result of this act of madness yesterday.
The Prime Minister, at some length today in the Houses of Parliament, made the point that the parliamentary process, hundreds of years in the making, mother of parliaments, has to be allowed to carry on.
Yes, it must. And it was the same for us last year in the European Parliament, and I don't think there's any coincidence that this attack took place a year on the anniversary of the attacks in Brussels. I see that Islamic State have claimed responsibility for this attack. Interestingly, last year the press spokesman for Islamic State said that if you can't get hold of a machine gun or a weapon, then use your car or use a knife, which is exactly what this chap has done yesterday.
I was in Nice, I was in Paris for the attacks there, and one of the functions of those attacks is you then see the state looking nervously about itself to see what it can do. Since 2015 in France now, there has been a state of emergency. We are a million miles away from that in the UK. But as you've just indicated, and as people are thinking, if it just takes a 4x4 and a knife to wreak this kind of havoc, what position does that put the state in?
Well, it's frightening. I mean, in Belgium, I work in Brussels. I mean, there's a state of emergency there. There's the military on the streets on a regular basis. It's not something I particularly like to see in this country, but we are in a precarious position because, as you said, it only takes a 4x4, it only takes a knife, and you can wreak havoc right across, but not just the bridge, but obviously in the Palace of Westminster as well. Look, this guy's going to be described as a lone wolf. I suspect that he won't be a lone wolf, because lone wolves are never lone wolves. There'll be other people within the community who knew what this guy was up to. These people need to be caught and they need to be brought to justice.
Can I just go back to how we make this place safe?
Yeah.
Because, as you've indicated, it's something they've grappled with in Brussels as well. You've got that constant tension between, on the one hand, wanting the places where we send our elected representatives to go and speak on our behalf to be open to us. But on the other hand, they've got to be safe.
Yes, they've got to be safe. We've got to keep our parliamentarians safe, and we've got to keep the people who visit the Palace of Westminster safe. That is the most important thing here. But, you know, we have a cancer within a particular community, and it needs to be cut out, and the Muslim community, I believe, needs to do more about this. We have the problem that we have 800 British citizens out fighting in Syria and Iraq for Islamic State. I don't believe they should be allowed to return, and down the line I think we're going to have to look at foreign funding of mosques, particularly from Saudi Arabia, who promote radicalism right across the globe.
Some people will say, look, OK, these may be legitimate questions, but just not questions for today, when we don't even know the name of the assailant. I mean, we've got a news agency, admittedly affiliated, that's made claims for Islamic State before, claiming this. It may not be connected. They may just opportunistically be claiming this.
It is all connected, isn't it? Because it's all connected to an ideology, whether that's Nice, Paris, Brussels, Berlin, or anywhere else. It's all connected to the same ideology, which is radical Islam. As I say, it's a cancer, not just in this country, it's a cancer throughout the world, and it needs to be cut out.
Paul Nuttall, appreciate you hanging around this morning to talk to us. Thanks very much.
You didn't frankly have the balls to put country before party.